Purple Yellow Niko Robin is a deck that's been getting a lot of hype recently. She's able to use her banish quite well now, because most of the leaders in the format are 5k. In the past, there's been a lot of leaders with just high base powers, like Nami or Roger. But now that Nami has been sort of forced out of the meta by Mihawk, and Roger's not been relevant for a while, Robin's banish is a lot more useful now. In addition, the Big Mum package that Big Mum is able to use, Robin can arguably use even better because she can ramp to it and has access to the one-cost pudding, making the whole thing a little bit more reliable. One of the biggest problems I had with Big Mum was there were a few dead turns in the mid-game where you weren't really doing a lot, and getting to that Big Mum just like one turn earlier from Robin's ramp is really quite pleasant. In addition, just starving your opponent of resources really makes this Big Mum stuff a lot scarier, because if you're either losing your lives to banish or countering those early 5s very aggressively, it means that your hand's going to be lower, so you can get run down by a big sort of sweep of Big Mum pirates in the late game. We'll jump into the sim and I'll show you the list that I've been playing. Just a reminder, the Sleeve Chief Summer Sale is still on until the end of this week. Do be quick, because some lines, including the Night Blossom bundle, are already sold out, but there are a good amount of these lines with hefty discounts still available to you, including most of the individual Night Blossom items. If you do want to pick up anything off the website, I'd say do it before the end of this week, because the sale will be ending and then prices will be higher. What a shock. And if you do, code Marine for 5% off. Thank you to Sleeve Chief for sponsoring this video. Okay, so this is the list that I've been working with. Drink of the day, by the way, got Chinese peach iced tea and also Red Bull. I've been playing a lot of Niko Robin, man, over the last couple of days. I've been trying to get my head around this deck because I was really struggling, but I think I've got there with how you want to sort of operate this deck now. The core identity is in the early game, you're going to starve your opponent out of resources, which sometimes makes them whiff plays, which is lovely when it happens. But at the very least, they're just going to have less stuff to defend their board. And in the early game, you want to be playing cards like Pudding, which increase your resource count to offset how kind of bad the ramp from this leader effect is. And you also want to be playing Yamato. Yamato on odds is brilliant because you can do triple ramp. You can do 1 Yamato plus 2 leaders, 2 Yamatos plus 1 leader, whatever. It's the only ramp I want to play because the event is a brick, which kind of sucks. It's to die for event. And there's no other ramp that really fits perfectly with this build. The Yamato is just incredible. But even on evens, this is solid because it effectively buys you a card, right? Because on evens, normally you go ramp twice with leader effect. If you play a Yamato, then you have to ramp once with leader effect, which is awesome. There's also some pretty cute plays, like on 4, if you play Yamato and leader effect, then on 8, you can do Borsalino plus Pudding, which allows you to accumulate just a gross amount of cards by taking all those hits down to 2. Heal back to 3. You've got a Borsalino blocker, you've got a Yamato blocker, you've got Pudding, who's ready to be buffed by Big Mum. And then that curve fits in just really nicely with the Yamato. So I'm really, really hot on this card. Other early game players, we have Montdor, mainly for Mihawk to deck all their weenies. Then if they want a Samurai, they've got to rest their characters. And if they rest their characters, we can kill their characters once we played Lindlin very easily, which is good. And Oven is fine. He's a really nice trigger to get. But even playing him manually, like on 7, alongside a Pudding, is acceptable. He's hard for your opponent to take out because of his on-KO. And that's about it. He's just kind of here. Your alternate 7 Don play, if you are on like evens and you play 1 ramp on 4, or I suppose 2 ramps on odds if you play Yamato plus leader skill on 3, is Smoothie. Smoothie's great. It synergizes with your leader effect quite nicely because you're naturally starving them of resources. So that 1 trash from Smoothie is likely to be a little bit more punishing than it would be in something like a Big Mum deck, where your opponent is not starved for resources. So I do like Smoothie. And then you just want to play Big Mum. The nice thing about Robin is because you have 1-cost Pudding, you have far better access to this card than yellow Big Mum does. Yeah, you don't whiff this in this deck, which is excellent. And as long as you've got a couple dudes on the board, which between getting triggers, and we play a good amount, right? This isn't a body, but the Daifuku and the Double Finger both are at 6. You got 8 with Montdor, 10 with Peros Pero, and then you got these 12 here. So you got 22 trigger plays, which is a good amount. Just be careful using Double Finger's trigger when you're not at 10 yet, because it does Dom -1, which is worse than Daifuku. Who would have thought? Once you've played your 10 Mum, I generally like to get aggressive. If your opponent has tapped characters, take them out, swing your character into their character, swing your leader into their leader, get the banish off, and into more aggressive decks like Red Black Sabo, you have to play a little bit more slowly and focus on taking out board more, but you can start getting really, really aggressive. If you've got 2 dudes on the board, once you play your 10 mum, you're already threatening 588. That's probably dealing 2 damage because they're not going to have a ton of resources because of the banish, right? So even if you're not taking out board, if you just start going aggro, it's really hard for your opponent to find the balance of, okay, they have to take out your board, otherwise they're going to fall over. But if they then take out your board, you can just play more. You can just go, okay, I'm going to play Borsalino Pudding. Go plus in hand advantage, develop a blocker, a guy that's going to become 8k, and heal. And then that heal could well be a trigger. Who'd have thought? You also have access to Gum Gum Giant in this deck, which is bonkers broken. We know this card is broken. Always has been. Purple Straw Hat has just not been good for a long time. And getting to play this again feels super good. Final cards in the list. I've got 2 copies of Peros for a bit of board refill. I've honestly not found him coming up very much. But there's been a couple of times where I wish I had him. And he is just a trigger body. And you do need a critical mass of these trigger bodies. And 4 of the 3 generals, who I keep calling the Elders. I'm going to go with it. This is the Elders. This the 8-cost Elders. This is one of the best things you can be doing after your Big Mum turn. Being able to reduce to your opponent's characters and heal and draw is crazy resource generation. And then this guy becomes a swing on the following turn. Because you have Giant, it's a lot easier to swing this than it is in something like Yellow Big Mum, where you don't have as good counter events. And this, combined with swinging with this, makes it very easy to clear most things in the game, except like Loki and some 10 costs. They're just sometimes a little bit too large. But yeah, this Generals is exceptional. And you can also play it off Pero for 9. If you have both, that's just even better. I'll discuss more about the list at the end, but do be aware you might see 8-cost Kata in some of these games. I was messing around with it. It was fine. It just ended up feeling worse than playing 2 extra copies of Borsalino, which is what I cut for him. So I have removed him again, although it's not a bad card. Either way, hope you enjoy these games with Nico Robin. Putting him into Ace, I'm definitely going to take second into this one. I do kind of like the Yamato. The Yamato is cool. We don't have any trigger cards. We do have a couple searchers. If we can Yamato and get like a pudding, a 3-cost pudding, we can go Pudding Borsa, which is really cool. I think we'll keep. This hand looks reasonably playable. There's a few things we're looking for, though, and we need to find trigger cards as well. We want trigger cards, we want Big Mum, and we want 3-cost pudding. That's what we're looking for. Well, now we don't have to play the Brulee, which is always nice. I mean, I don't really want any of those. I guess I'll take the Smoothie. It's okay. And it is a trigger card. And we'll go with the other one. We see Big Mum. We do see Big Mum. We still don't see a 3-cost pudding. We'll just take the Big Mum. And then pass. Indeed, as expected, just 8. There's another Yamato. I don't really need multiple of them. We'll... I mean, I'm almost certainly trashing this Smoothie. Let's see what the pudding finds. Still no 3-cost pudding is kind of wild. That's kind of unfortunate, I'm not going to lie. Do we need multiple of these? I mean, we can go Yamato this turn. And lead a skill and then go like Borsa Yamato next turn. Ugh, it's kind of... I don't know, it's kind of stinky. I might just take the Montdor and then just trash it. Can we have the Smoothie? And then the Elders. We can call them these the Elders. I'll take the Elders for after our Linlin turn. We should draw more cards by then anyway. We'll go 5 leader, banish, trash the Smoothie. I don't think we're playing that. I think we'll probably end up going Borsa Yamato. And I don't know. Vista's kind of obnoxious though. I'd really like to see a... Yeah, I'd really like to see a pudding. A 3-cost pudding. But what can you do? Give us a little ores. We'll ramp up with this. We've done our ramps. We don't need to use leader effect anymore. That's always very good. 5 Don here. I mean, it's Ace or Luffy. It's one or the other. 6, I'm going to take again because currently the best play is Borsalino. And another Borsalino. Show me the pudding. Incredible. We top deck the pudding. That is just so good. We'll do 5 banish. No effect. He'll probably just use the Luffy. But he's going really low on cards, right? Ace doesn't have a ton of cards at the best of times. The only thing we've got to watch out for is after we Big Mum, he can play 10-beard, which is scary. But we do have the Elders to try and combat that. At least we can try and threaten that with the Big Mum. We're going to have a ton of cards. Although, actually, the Elders are the only trigger card. If I want to play this pudding, I have to trash them. Ugh. He does. He uses the Luffy effect. Yeah, I'll toss the Elders. It kind of sucks, though. I'd like to draw another one soon. Game 1 life. Pass. He gave us a Curial. Okay. Vista is what he's going to want. He can blow up this Yamato. It's pretty good. If he does swing with anything before, I'll probably just block with the Yamato. Yeah, I'm not taking the chance that you got Vista, bro. Not taking the chance. Well, it appears he doesn't have a 6 cost, which is crazy business. This is an ace. I don't mind. I think staying healthy is good. We'll go block 2k here. So then I guess this is secret ace. This is secret ace. Oh no, it's a Luffy. Does this kill my boss? Yeah, do you know what, man? You got it. It's fine. He blocked 2 swings. I wasn't expecting the Luffy. I wasn't expecting the Luffy. We'll go with you. Gain a life. 5 here. No effect, obviously. I mean, do I want to attack Luffy or just pass? I don't hate just passing. Getting another card feels. I'm gonna greed 6 on 6. We're greeding the Gura is interesting. I don't know if it's good here. He is protecting this life, I think, a little too eagerly. Because you have 2 cards in hand, sir. To be fair, he's not trashed anything of any playability. But I mean, yeah, you got that one. That's fine. New gate. There we go. There's the new gate. We knew it was going to come out. Gives it rush. Am I really taking 3 swings here? I don't think I am. I think I'm countering this one and then taking the other 2. We'll give up the Yamato. We'll keep the Montdor as a trigger card in case we draw a 3-cost pudding. And then, yeah, these other 2 we'll have to take. Yep. 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 Nope. Okay. That's... If this finds the Elders, we just kind of win. No Elders. Never lucky. I might take you. We could do 5 for Bourse. 4 more. 1 leave 1. We could do 15 to Newgate. He could have a good Alala again, which he probably does, given he's left this one random Don open. If we don't Borsalino. Maybe we don't Borsalino. Maybe just Pudding. 3 for Pudding. 1 for Giant. We could do 17 to 12. That's pretty likely, right? He'd have to have good at and a counter. And then we clear these for sure. If we had the 3 boys, we'd be in such a better spot. But I had to trash them off that pudding earlier, which kind of sucks. We get rid of it. That's just amazing. We'll attempt to clear one of these Luffys. Incredible. Then we pudding over the pudding, trashing the Montdor, who is rubbish. There you are. Where were you 5 minutes ago, bro? It's tough. Now we're quite low on life. We shouldn't die though. We've got Giant. We've got a good amount of counters. They're all 1Ks. But even if we go down to 0, as long as we can clear his board, it's kind of fine. 9 to 5. So the best thing he can play here is Newgate for 6. He has it again. And then the swings are 9 plus 12. He'll probably want to take out this Daifuku though. I'm going to counter this. The -2. Trashing a Yamato, buff up. And then trashing an Oven. We can conceivably save this. What's this 6? This is 6 for Newgate, I guess. Do we need to save this? Not really. Let's let it go. We can just play the long game. I don't know what this 6 dons for. Okay, it's another fucking Luffy. This guy's drawn all the Luffy. He's still at 5 lives, by the way. Should 100% have let some of these go. You could have defended that Newgate if you'd let some of these damn lives go. 10, absolutely. You got it. You got it, man. Anyway, here's the Elders. Game 1 life. Reduce these. Both at 3. Let's go 8 to 3. 12 to 3. Should have used one of the effects maybe, because now we can just go... We'll just go 6. At leader. Trash nothing, obviously. We finally get a banish off. That's a nice one to get rid of as well. And then we'll just pass. And from here, I don't see a way for us to lose, to be honest. The one scary turn was the turn he dropped the Newgate. He whiffed 6, cost on 6, but... I mean, this deck isn't the most consistent ever. He got the Luffy, and he got the Newgate. But yeah, that's not going to happen. Trash one of these. Off, resolve. And it looks like we have won the game. Incredible work. In fact, we can just play, again, Giga Slow. Just go 6. We can play Pudding Borsalino here and just, there's no way to lose. 8. 8. 12. Pudding, over the Pudding, trash a Smoothie, and then Borsalino. Over the Pudding, game 1. Yep, we were able to control this game very, very nicely. This was a good win. This was a good win. I think our opponent just defended their life a little too early. If he was able to keep that Newgate on the board, he would have had a chance to do something. It shows us Vista and Little Laws. He's going to have to try and take out the Linlin. Even if he does, we can just dump another one. It doesn't matter. 9 to 6. No blocker. Fucking hell, my hand is huge. 2k, 2k. Block. GG's. Indeed, GG's. I think it just defended the life too aggressively in the early game, like I said before. If he was able to play out that 10 cost and have it stick, maybe it could have been different. If he had a 6 cost on 6, it would have been better than all those damn Luffys. But, I mean, this deck doesn't draw perfectly every game. It's not a consistent deck. And he also went first, so lost dice RNG, I guess. Hey, we'll take the win, though. Okay, we've got to get into a Nell. This one should be a pretty tough matchup, I think. Let's take first, because they can just rest all of our stuff pretty easily. The Mont d'Ors are actually kind of interesting for this matchup. Might keep. Let's give it a go. I think if we can remove all these little 1-drops, that should put us in good stead. We do get the pass there. 8-cost Kata, I think that's probably going to be not that great, to be honest. We'll go 5 banish. How many cards do we need to reveal? We need to reveal 2. Yeah, let's go 5 banish, trashing the... What are we going to do next turn? We're not going to play the Smoothie. We might play the Smoothie in a couple turns, but hopefully we'll draw something else by then. I don't even hate playing like 2 Mont d'Ors in a row. Use Mamaragans, sure, seems good. We'll play the Mont d'Or, reveal these, KO the Ohm. And then pass. At least get rid of a little bit of aggression. He ramps straight up. 5 leader. Yep, we'll take... okay, 10 mum's good, but we need to get there first. He's got a Reiju. Okay, so our Mont d'Or is not doing anything. I think we'll just swing 7. Trash the second Mont d'Or. And then play Oven. I think this is about the best thing we can do here. It's not amazing though, I will say. Yeah, it just lets it go as he should. We'll play the Oven and then pass. Unfortunate not to get the triple ramp, but I did keep that hand. I wanted to try out the Mont d'Ors, and I mean the Mont d'Or's pretty good. It was pretty good, but he's going to start being very aggressive here, which is annoying. We'll see how many events he gets, whether he can clear any of our stuff as well. We've got one more turn before we get to Big Mum. And then from there, we'll see. Goes with Vari to buff up the Enel. Is he going to burn 2 more events to make the Reiju big? He could do. Key 10. Presumably on the Mont d'Or. I think you'd always kill the Mont d'Or before the oven. Yeah. L4? Yeah, okay. The Reiju's big now. That's pretty scary. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a 2k, so I guess we're taking. Do I want to use that next turn? We kind of have to heal. I think I'll just... I can probably keep it. And the Reiju does swing. Okay, we're in danger of just falling over. I'm not going to lie. This deck is it's quite aggressive. I might have to trash so that we can use a giant, to be honest. Yeah, we'll do this. Use the card action. Gain a life. He's got to trash 1. Then, yeah, I think we just swing 5. Trash the pudding. And ramp up so that we can use Gum Gum Giant and still lead and still Big Mum next turn. But I think we're still we're already in a pretty rough spot. Let's go 5. I'll trash the pudding. We'll ramp up. Just so that we can giant. I don't really want to use 2, but I guess I could have just swung 6. It is what it is. It is what it is. At least the Mumaragan's gone, so maybe he won't use it to rest one of our dudes. Second Enel is rough. We're not in a good spot. I think we're just going to get aggroed down way too fast by this deck. Yeah, other than not finding the Yamato, we've not really whiffed as well. We had good plays. The Mont d'Or clearing his 1-drop got us out of 1 attack, which was nice. Mumaragan, rest the smoothie. Yeah. Maybe should have countered that, just to force something else to swing into it, to be honest. Probably. This is going to swing for potentially 12. So I guess we have to giant this one. Trashing this. Buff up. And then 2k. And then we take the Reiju swing if the Reiju does swing. But I don't like this position. Not at all. I do not like this position. The fact they're able to remove your stuff just for free feels kind of bad. This guy, can this guy attack? Oh shit, I forgot this can attack. Well, I guess we're taking that one. Yeah, I didn't realize this could attack. That's my bad. And if we use this trigger, we go to 0. If we don't, we can counter the Reiju swing, but I only have 1 dude on the board. It's just not great either way. I mean, we clear this, we go back to 1. I think we have to say no trigger. But, like, this is not good. Okay, he doesn't attack with the Reiju. I'm happy with that one. Let's go 5 here. Okay, well, it's to be expected, but maybe he won't have a 2k to defend the Reiju. Most of their 2ks don't defend Reiju. We'll game 1, and then we'll swing 8 into the Reiju. We need him to not have a counter for this. Which, it's very possible. They don't tend to play actual 2ks. Okay. We're still not in a great spot, but we're doing something. He's got 4 swings, but 2 of them are pretty small. Oh, okay. I see. We got the Divine Departure plus Mumaragan. Oh, Kitten Alpha. Okay. Bro, we're so cooked. It's so cooked. Yep. Nothing we could have done about that one. Yeah, man. I mean, I have to counter this. Jesus, bro. This is so ass. I'm so sick of it now, bro. Get him out. Get this guy out of here. I mean, we have to counter this one, otherwise we literally die. But this is still catastrophic. I mean, we have to play that next turn, I suppose. Is there any point using the trigger? Honestly, like, not really. Well, there's a big mum. We can't play it this turn, but maybe we can play it in a turn's time or something. Let's clear the home. You know, I assume we'll clear the home. I don't imagine how or why he would counter this. But maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm wrong on that. No, I'm not wrong on that. I mean, it's just Borsalino, right? We have to leave a Don open, so I can't even, like, pressure these NLs with a 10 on 10. We can go leader a little bit. I'll go, like, 7, 8. Yeah, I guess we'll go 8 at leader. And so we'll get a banish off at least. And then we play Borsalino. I can't play Big Mum there. I just can't play Big Mum there. Because we just die. Holly is gone. My finest Borsalino, sir. Go. I guess I could have played the generals, but I really do like the fact that Borsalino is a blocker. I mean, he might not be, but he says blocker on him. So at least he has the potential to be a blocker. But it's not looking too promising with the Senor Pink coming down. Goes back L4. Does he have a Gamma Knife? Oh, man, come on, dude. Oh, fucking NL, man. Ah, get me out of here, dude. Get me out of here, man. Oh, Lightning Dragon on the oven. Why not? Oh, man, it's so fucked. I mean, we actually just lose, right? We actually just lose. No trigger. I mean, I'm not seeing a win con, bro. We can play like fucking double Yamatos here and just hope he doesn't have any more ways to rest, but he still has 4 swings and we have Pistol counter, man. This sucks. I'd play the generals, heal back to 1, but then we just fall over. So yeah, I guess we have to just double Yamato. 7 leader double Yamato. But it's still really bad. This can't find us anything good. No, it can't find Borsalino. That's the only good thing we could possibly see. I'm gonna get rid of another dog. Go. But, like, these are so vulnerable to everything in this deck, man. And we're just going to fall over anyway. We don't have the... Oh, there's the MrMaCHONaCHOMan. Excellent. Yeah, this shit is cooked, bro. How am I supposed to win this game? Yeah, whatever. You win, bro. You win, bro. That matchup feels completely unplayable. We got to 10. We weren't in that bad of a position, but then he just removes the Big Mum, and it's like, yeah. Iron Man, I guess. Yeah, I felt rough, but well played to our opponent. He played well. Okay, we've got to give him to Rocks. Let's take second away from him. I don't fancy ramping 2,000 times. We have the Big Mum. We have a Pudding. This is a pretty decent hand. I think we'll keep. We can maybe aggressively play Borsalino because he is going to attack on 3 and 5. So we can play Borsalino on our... It'll be like our 7 Don turn. It's not too bad. Get us a life back, establishes a blocker, which is alright. We're going to dump the Pudding on 4, which is a good start. And then we can go straight into Big Mum from 10. Okay, second Big Mum is not quite what I was looking for, but it's good to have more than one. You never know. Trashes John to reveal Don Marlon. Yeah, well, I'll just use this. That's fine. There is Don Marlon himself. We don't have many triggers. That is a little scary. Toss the generals. Okay. That's too many big mums, man. It's really too many big mums. Next turn, what are we doing? We're just Borsalinoing, right? On 7. So I guess it doesn't really matter which one we toss. I'll toss a pudding. Yeah. Are we countering a swing? And if we are, it's probably just a 5. So we'll just toss the Daifuku. Everyone rested. Yeah, he has Rocks Pirates. That's fine. Big Mum, he can draw 2. I'm not trashing 2. It's not going to happen. 5 to 5. Reveals a Buckin. Yeah, sure, we'll take 1 and then we'll counter the Don Marlon if we need to. Okay, he doesn't want to swing the Don Marlon. We could go... I mean, we can't play Pudding actually because we don't have a trigger card, which is kind of wild. But hey, what can you do? We have to trash the Pudding, so we'll just go 7 leader. Trash the Pudding. Ramp up, and then we'll play Borsalino. And then next time we get to play Big Mum. If any of these dudes swing, tap, if any of these do swing, tap, whatever. Okay, he is countering out. He's giving us a Kaido and a Rocks Pirates. He's staying nice and healthy, which is pretty good, to be fair, for him. This is, again, a difficult matchup for us. Zebek. I just have so many cards anyway that our Starve isn't as effective. And that's true of a lot of decks in this format. There's a lot of decks that have a lot of cards. It tosses the Buckin to reveal there's no authority. I'm actually going to give a 1k here. We don't need all these Yamatos. And I'd kind of like to keep the Borsalino. There's a Newgate. And then just a pass. Okay. I think that's intelligent. Let's go just a 5. Banish. No effect. Give us a Buckin. Sure. Deploy this, we'll gain a life. I'll swing the oven, but that's the only thing I'm swinging. There's a pudding in here, so if he kills the oven, he gets punished. We'll swing the oven, we'll give him a card. It's not like he doesn't have 1,000 million cards anyway. I don't really fancy tapping the pudding, though. I would quite like to swing the pudding into his board, but we can freely tap the oven, that's no drama. 9 Dom, we'll see if he parks a Shiki. Parking a Shiki is pretty good. He could also try and remove board, go with like a Gloriosa type play. Trashes Rocks Pirates to reveal Kaido. The fact that he's trashing 2Ks is quite telling. He doesn't want a Newgate effect. I don't really want a trigger, to be honest. But I wouldn't say no. Do we want to... If we take this, we are facing a 7 and an 8, so we probably should counter, realistically. We probably should just counter. Give up the... I could have actually blocked, because then if he attacks one of these, that's fine with me. Yeah, I should have blocked. Let's give up the Yamato, though. Don Marlon just grabs back a 2k. And then Stussy stuns 2 things. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We'll have to remove the Stussy. Let's do that first. Get rid of her. Are we not getting rid of her? Charlotte and Lynn for 1k. 2k and then the Buckin. Okay. Interesting counter. What do we want to do? Just playing another Big Mum feels pretty good. We'll just heal again. I don't mind swinging the Borsalino. If he wants to attack into it, that's fine. Just swing the Borsa into the Stussy. Maybe he doesn't have another 2k. He didn't seem to have 2 in his hand. Although he was trashing 2k, so I guess he does have 1. Yeah, I'll go 5 again into the Stussy. Oh, this has got to go. Okay, he had another Buckin. But his hand is pretty low for what it's worth. Let's play this. Gain a life. And then pass. I don't care if he attacks the Borsalino. We need a bench spot anyway. 7 on 6 though. Do we have a 2k? We do not. That's fine. You can have it. 5 and 5. How many swings? He's got potentially quite a lot of swings. 2 more after this. That are both... 3 more, actually. Let's counter at least 1. Can I take 3 lives? This can swing as well. I don't know what he plays here. There's so many different options. Stussy plus, like, Park something. I think I'll again give 1k. And then we'll aggressively take the others. It's a nice trigger. We'll use that. Because he can stun tons of shit, right? So the full board is big. And the full board is big. And he's starved himself, so we can probably pressure board here a little bit. 5 leader. Trashes straws into real cheeky. I'm assuming he's not going to rocks combo, but he could, I guess. I'm fine to take 1 more. We won't trigger that, though, obviously. He could go Stussy effect and then tap, and then play another Stussy. Looks like that is probably what's happening. Okay, it's Captain John. Does he have the event, then? No. No, he doesn't have the event. At least not active. So we need to clear this John. This John has to go. We just want to clear as much of his board as possible this turn. The fact that he's not played rocks is exceptional. But when you have a full board, it's kind of hard to want to play rocks over it. But I think it's probably correct. Trashes Cardo off John. Yeah, we're going to just go aggressively at this John. Start by swinging the oven. 8 on 6. He only has 1 Don active, so he can't use the silly Usopp event. This Linlin can't swing. That's the only thing that can't swing. Everything else is gaming. John just fucking falls over immediately. That's brilliant. Let's clear the new gate with the Linlin. This is incredibly likely to go through. But I think we're actually in a very good position here. I think he has not been aggressive enough at our board. Sorry, our life. Now, this Stussy does have to go. What do I actually want to play this turn? I'd kind of like to play both Smoothie and Pudding. Rip a card, get a life, and then draw a bunch. That sounds very compelling. We wouldn't then have Gum Gum Giant, though, so maybe we just play the Smoothie. I think I just play the Smoothie. We definitely don't need to play Big Mum. That's brilliant. Then we'll go 8 into the Sussy. That's brilliant. We'll go 6 at leader. 2k check. 2k check passed. And then we'll play you over the top of the Pudding. Use the card action, game 1, and you've got to trash a card as well. So he's down to 3 cards, which is, for Rocks, pretty catastrophic. But he's not had really any opportunities to get more. Because we've simply banished the 1 life, and he's countered the other banishes. Which I think taking 1 more banish would have been fine. A little bit earlier on, maybe. Just to have more cards. But yeah, I mean, he was pretty aggressive with playing out guys. I don't really get the idea of playing Captain John and then letting it die immediately. That feels a bit weird, but I guess. And the oven being able to exert pressure whilst being unremovable is brilliant. 5 to 4, we'll counter this. No need to let that go. We don't know what he's going to do, but we have a Gum Gum Giant. And where there is a Gum Gum Giant, there is a way. Even if he plays Shiki and jams into the Linlin, we don't care. We do not care. And we've got a real chance of just killing him this turn, to be honest. We've got 6 swings, he's only got 4 life. See what he plays out off of this. Gloriosa's pretty good, actually. That will remove our oven. And Stussy will stun... Yeah, that's not bad. That's about the best he could have probably done there, to be honest. That is pretty reasonable. So we've got 4 swings. We can't win. How do we want to play in that case? Do you want to just park another Big Mum? I don't think so. I kind of like playing another Smoothie. Just ruin his day again. I think Jam sort of... This is going to be 7. We'll Jam 7 lead. Probably just eat the Gloriosa. Then we'll go 12-12, deal 2 damage. And then play a Smoothie and force... We'll probably play a Smoothie first, actually. Before jamming with the Linlins. Let's go 7. Start with a 7. This just kind of forces the block because he has so few cards. Yeah. We don't need to attack, to be fair. We could clear the Kyo and then just pass. He's got nothing. And we're going to be at 10 million lives. But we could also just deal 3 damage and put the clock on, which is probably much, much better. Let's go with Smoothie first because he has less options. And he has to trash 1 of 3. And Newgate's not the worst one to trash. But hey. And then we'll go 3 attacks. Push him down to 1. And he dies next turn. Unless he comes up with something crazy in his 6-card hand. Which I don't think he does, given we have a Gum Gum Giant. And where there is a Gum Gum Giant, there is a way. I will let this go, though. We can't defend this efficiently. That's fine. Trashes Don Marlon to reveal Lin Lin. Neither of those cards are very exciting. He almost certainly has to tap this Stussy. I think he needs to have another Stussy, basically. Because then he can stun Smoothie and double Lin Lins. But that is his entire turn, right? That's his entire turn. And then we can just sort of park a Lin Lin and pass. Could even just burn the life, to be honest, with the Lin Lin. And he's at 0. We have a board of enormous dudes. And if he doesn't stun all this shit, he just falls over. Even if he stuns these 3, there's a possibility he dies. Okay, Shiki 9 on 9. A little bit of 9 on 9 action. And then we've got 12 on 9. But that's not going to cut it. Because we have a Gum Gum Giant. And where there's a Gum Gum Giant, there's a way. We'll trash this. Buff up. Resolve. And that's going to be the game. That is absolutely the game. He could stun one Big Mum, but that's it. GG's to our opponent. Indeed. Indeed. We'll go 9 banish. Honestly. It's over. Yeah, I mean, that's not gone how many of my other games with Rocks have gone. The oven early was actually huge. Because he either didn't find Gloriosa or didn't want to play Gloriosa. Wanted to play the Big Mom 5. So he couldn't get rid of the oven. The oven just got sort of pressure, which was nice. Either board or face. I don't think he ever countered an oven swing. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong on that. That was a nice win versus Rocks. The term where it sort of really turned around was 10, when he just played the John, and then it died immediately. I don't really get that. When he first played the John, I was like, oh, he's got the Usopp event, and we're going to be stuck here for a bit. That's pretty annoying. But that wasn't the case. And then he played like a Kyo or a Don Marlon or something after it. And it's like, I mean, okay, man, but yeah, weird one. We'll play to our opponent, though. Let's move on. Okay, we're going to go into Mihawk. I think I'm taking second, because first is only better if we get the Giga Ramp, which is unlikely. He mulligans immediately. I see Lin Lin. This is a pretty reasonable curve. We can go Pudding into Smoothie into Lin Lin. Yeah, it's just keep. That's perfectly acceptable. Perona finds Kinemon. Mont d'Or would be pretty good. I probably will play this. Oh, we do actually find the Mont d'Or. Yeah, let's take it. This can screw over his samurai shit. He can do them immediately, but like, maybe we won't play him. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to play the Mont d'Or. Yes, use that trigger. Yeah, it's costly. It means we can't Pudding Smoothie. Can Mont d'Or Smoothie or Mont d'Or Pudding something else, but getting rid of these 2 fellas to stop the samurai and stop the rest targets is pretty huge. It's pretty huge. Yeah, we'll play the Mont d'Or. I'll show him the Smoothie and the Pudding. Okay, these. Then we'll go 6 leader, trashing. It's probably one of the 2Ks. I want to keep both these options available to me. If I draw something good, I'd rather play Pudding. Pudding probably draws something. Let's just trash the 1K. Just trash the Smoothie, it's fine. Banish an Odin. Lovely. See if he has an Odin. He does have an Odin. Incredible work. And he's going to rest the Odin. and swing very large, and we will be taking. Yeah, sure, why not? We've got a full board of boys. I'm probably just going to play the pudding and then jam into this Odin, to be honest now. So we'll play the pudding, get rid of one of the 2Ks, draw 3. This probably isn't very good. And yeah, given that our board's already full, let's just jam 9 to Odin. Toss this, game 1. And it goes. Incredible. Keeps the board nice and clear. We're going to have insane aggression next turn. We're going to have 4 8s and a leader swing, which is a lot. Billion fold is important. Just an Odin, no Mihawk. Brilliant. That works amazingly for us. Rests 1 Don to restand 3. Samurai, I don't know about that one. 5 leader. Should probably counter that, to be honest. I'll give up the Daifuku here. And 2 Don for events, huh? We'll do our due diligence and kill Perona. Then we'll swing 5 banish. Trashes a Bonnie. Kind of surprising he had all these Bonnies and didn't choose to play one. But, hey, we'll take it. I feel like this is one of the matchups where the Bonnie's the best. But I guess he wouldn't get to stun anything, and maybe we just start swinging with the ovens. I'm going to take out the Odin, as it's the only thing on his board. If we take it out, it can't swing back into our shit. And then we'll just go 8-8. Does he even have 7 rested cards? He doesn't. He doesn't have 8 rested cards. So take 2. Yeah, your turn. And you can't shanks yet, so we're probably just going to win this game. We've got very fast ramp. That's what we want to see. We've got pretty lucky on the triggers as well, I must say. 2 ovens coming out is kind of disgusting. And the Mont door was huge. I think him resting these Odins is a little greedy. But I can't say what was in his hand exactly, you know? I cannot say. Shanks removes a pudding and then gets rested. He gets to remove 2 things here. Does he? Does he actually? He actually doesn't. Get out of here, dude. No siree. So we just go for the win now. Never a reason to play this, I don't think. He has 2 Don active. He could live, but we're going to chomp through his shit. We could also just go again. With the Big Mum. We get the heal. We'll get 3 8s and a 12. He'll remove the board. He might actually remove one. He might be able to remove both Big Mums, actually. So we don't have a ton of counter. We're probably just best off going for it. Cool. DMG and a Tama. Racc.Cosm. And a Vanderdecken. You dead? You're dead. GG's. That's a quick one into Mihawk, holy. That was like a 5-minute game. Just got battered in. The double triggers was pretty fucking grim. But hey, it is what it is. That's the deck we play. So what do we think about Nico Robin? I think the deck's pretty good. This is the best that Robin has ever felt, in my opinion. I know there's been some rogue builds in the past that Giga Starve. I've not really gelled with those. I found those very difficult to pilot. And also just not very effective, to be honest. But I don't think Robin is going to be top tier. I think this deck is strong. The Big Mom package synergizes and honestly feels better and stronger in this deck than Yellow Linlin. Being able to play the 1-cost Pudding Searcher is lovely. Having access to Gum Gum Giant for extra defense feels incredible. And being able to ramp to this so that you have less dead turns just feels great. And the deck does feel pretty consistent. With these searchers, this is basically a searcher. And every card just being pretty good. I've not been whiffing stuff very often, which is obviously strong. The one thing you sometimes whiff is this Yamato, but because it's unsearchable. But it is what it is. When it comes up, it's lovely. If it doesn't, it is what it is. It's a 1k still, at least. I do think you previously had a really good matchup into Mihawk, and you can still sometimes get there. As you saw in that match, I just fucking beat the shit out of him with the aggression. But if they're able to get to 10 and stabilize and go Shanks, Deck, and Luna, Shanks, Deck, and Luna, and start removing your big mums, the matchup becomes a lot more difficult. It truly does. The matchup becomes way, way, way more difficult when they're able to do that. Because you just don't have the aggression. And even if they don't Luna, they're going to have cleared a couple of your guys with the Shank swing and maybe the leader swing. And the big mum is gone from the Deccan. So it becomes difficult. They do need to draw well. They need to draw well in the mid game. But I don't think it's as good as it was before. I think Black Luffy as well, it feels very bad. I was not enjoying that matchup at all. I don't have a game in this video, I'm afraid, into Black Luffy. But the Loki blockers are just really tough to deal with. In the same way that it's a tough matchup for Yellow Linlin, I think it's also a tough matchup for us, because they're aggressive. And the one thing with Robin is, in the early game, you are frail. You've got to sort of play very precisely and see the right cards in the early game. For example, the Yamato on evens into slower decks feels kind of bad, because you might as well use leader effect. But into these more aggressive decks, this buys you a card, because you don't have to leader effect, and then blocks a swing. So into decks like Red Black Sabo, I was finding this Yamato exceptionally important, even on evens, whereas it's more of an odds card in theory, right, to help you with the triple ramp. But yeah, the aggressive decks I've found a little bit more difficult. And generally, I don't think, other than yellow decks, where you're naturally just pretty damn good into yellow, right, because you have Banish, I've not found too many matchups where it feels very positive for Robin. A lot feel pretty close. No matchups feel catastrophically bad. Maybe Black Luffy. But even that, you can win. You can win. But I've not found any matchups where, like, your opponent flips over a leader and you're like, oh, I'm going to win. Other than yellow decks. If you play into, like, a Lin or a Boa, you're kind of laughing. Because their deck strategy is based around triggers, and you just say, no, let's not do that. Let's not have any triggers. And then they have fuck all resources, and they struggle. Either way, I do think Robin is going to be strong. I'd probably put her in tier 2 at the minute. I don't think this is a tier 1 deck. But for Robin to be tier 2, it's kind of crazy. One more thing I will say in Robin's favour, though, is you will gain a lot of percentage points on especially less experienced players, just from matchup and experience. People get terrified of the Banish Man, then they start over-countering early on to protect their lives, just like that Ace player did. He over-countered to protect the lives, because you see 5 Banish and you're like, that's an easy counter, that's 1k. That's 1k. But that plays into Robin's strategy. Her strategy is, you're going to have no cards, I'm going to take out your board, and then I'm going to present this overwhelming threat and, like, flood of dudes that you can't deal with, and they're just going to kill you in 2 turns. That's the strategy. And your opponents will sometimes lean into that by going, oh, it's a 5-on-5, I'm at 5 lives, I'll just give you 1k. That's brilliant. That's what we want them to do. We want them to sit at 5 lives. Because then by the time, like that Ace player did, when he played the Newgate, he had about 2 cards in hand. You just kill the Newgate, and then who cares? Like, does he have another one? Maybe. We'll heal again and kill the Newgate again. It's no big drama. We can go forever with this deck, because we have a crazy number of heals, a crazy number of counters with this Gum Gum Giant, and everything is enormous. There are turns where your opponent can't even put pressure on, because they have to clear your board, otherwise they're going to fall over. So I think matchup and experience, as you'll have seen in a lot of these games, I think I've had some annotations on the screen where I think my opponents have made mistakes. It just happens, right? That's one of the things about playing a yellow deck, is people are going to misplay into you. Some of the agency of what games you're going to win, just like with Lin, is dependent on how good your opponent is. And I do think into better opponents, if you're like at a regional and you're playing near the top tables, I think you are going to struggle a lot more with Robin than at your locals. I think this is going to be an exceptional deck for locals, because people are not going to have the experience with this matchup. They're going to shit their pants at the sight of Banish, they're going to over-counter, and then your strategy of starving and clearing board is going to come into full swing. Where this becomes more difficult is when you come up against opponents that are like, yeah, I'm just going to take the Banish, it's fine, we'll keep the resources we have in hand, defend the important characters, let the unimportant characters go, and sort of counter your slow roll with their own slow roll to an extent, or just giga aggro you down, something like a GU Luffy, or even some of the Elbaf stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to put here, I know there are a few more misplays from my opponents than average in this video. It's unavoidable, man. The amount of games I've had to cut just from people playing really badly into this deck is diabolical. But yeah, I think the worst misplay in this video was the Mihawk play who didn't play the bottom. I don't really understand that one. Although, given his hand at the end, it's possible his hand was just like 6 bricks. And he's like, holy fuck, he's gonna lose to a bunch of 5s. Because we would have been able to pepper 5s with like the ovens. We had a full board of dudes, right? We could have played like a Borsalino or something. I can't remember what was in my hand. We could have played something small and then just swung a bunch of 5s and gone for pressure that way. So I think not playing the body was a pretty bad mistake. Although most people aren't even playing the card, so whatever. But yeah, apologies, the opponents weren't quite as good as usual. But hey, there was a loss in there, so I hope you enjoyed that one at least. In terms of other options, I already mentioned this. You can play this if you like. It wasn't working for me, but maybe it'll work for you. Other Big Mum cards, you can include other Big Mum cards. Tenko's Mum could be cute. It's good if you want to play an even more Starvy build of this, and if you're struggling with decks to play a lot of top end. Playing this to remove their top end's cool. But Dom -4 is like actually a cost in this deck. In Katakuri and in Kaido, this is not a cost. But in Robin, you're going to end up at 8 next turn. 9 if you really want to use Leader Effect, but you probably don't. So then you can't drop another Big Mum, and it's a bit awkward, is all I'll say. You can't play Giant for like 2 turns, for example. So I'm not sure. If you want a Kaido tech, play this Lin. You just life the king, and then you're kind of laughing because they don't have a king on the board, which is just very good. There's not many things that can remove king, obviously because of his silly effect, but this is one of the better ones. And Zeus is a 2k you can play if you like, although I've been preferring the Trigger 2ks, and the Brûlé has just come up so much, man. I'd play this card out so much. If I didn't want a critical mass of triggers, I'd be tempted to even include a couple copies of Stroizen, just as extra consistency pieces, because one of the things that I've liked most about this deck is the consistency. I've been able to do pretty much what I want whenever I want with this deck. The one thing I sometimes whiff is like the generals after Big Mum, because you have to prioritize so many other things in the early game. But yeah, I've been loving the consistency. Would maybe play Stroizens, but it's tough, right? Because you do need critical mass of triggers. Otherwise, you'll start whiffing triggers, and then the games become harder to win. Who would have thought? The trigger deck likes getting triggers. What a surprise. A lot of these other Big Mum cards from the set are leader locked. Both the Cracker, where's the Cracker gone? Cracker is leader locked. Kata is leader locked. You can't play them. It is what it is. And the unblockable event only works in your Charlotte Linlin leader, not your Charlotte Linlin character. I don't know why, but it does. Hey ho, it is what it is. I think the other card that people will play is Teach. You don't really have an 8 on turn. The only time you have 8 is if you're on evens and you play Yamato on 4 and leader effects. And then, like, sure, you can play Teach, but I'd kind of rather play like Double Pudding or Pudding Borsa than just a Teach. Because you develop 2 dudes, you get more value than just this one life. I'm like, sure, he's big, but I don't know. The card's fine. The card's fine. The trigger's insane. And the effect is strong, but it's only good on one very specific turn. If you're on odds, it's useless. And if you're on, it's mostly useless because you can play it on 9, but you don't really want to ever end up on 9 on odds, to be honest. But yeah, on evens, it's only good if you play Yamato on 4. So if you end up playing Pudding on 4 or Oven on 4, this doesn't do anything. And it's a brick, but it is a trigger. So you could consider Teach. He's not a bad card at all. I'm just quite happy with this 50 at the moment. Either way, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the games, and hope you have a lovely rest of your day.